Hello, everyone. It's me. Today I will tell you the story of a ship that was found without any crew members. This ship was found over 150 years ago, but we still do not know what happened to its crew. Maybe this ship is cursed. Maybe a sea monster attacked it. Maybe an entire crew went crazy and jumped into the ocean. What could have happened? Let's find out today. It's dark and stormy. Waves crash around you and the wind blows hard. You are in the crow's nest of a ship, and suddenly you see another ship in the distance. You call down to the deck and shout to the captain, "Look, there's a ship over there," but the captain does not reply. You climb down and go to find him, but when you get there, you see that the deck is empty. All the ropes are slack. There is no one on board. What? Where is everyone? This is exactly what happened over 150 years ago. In December of 1872, sailors aboard the ship, the captain and all of the crew members, were nowhere to be found. They had simply vanished. And this is the true story of the most mysterious ship ever found. The ship's name was the Mary Celeste. She was a three-masted American merchant ship that was built in 1861. She was used to carry cargo, and she sailed between New York and Brazil. The Mary Celeste was a very normal ship with a crew of 8 men. The captain's name was Benjamin Briggs. He was 29 years old. He was married, and he had a 4-year-old daughter named Sophia. The rest of the crew were experienced sailors. They knew the seas well. They had been sailing for many years. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste left New York and began her trip to Genoa, Italy. She would stop at Gibraltar first, then pick up some oranges and wine before heading to Italy. The plan was to get there by Christmas. The crew set sail across the Atlantic Ocean. A few days later, the ship arrived at Gibraltar. They dropped anchor in the harbor and sent a small boat to shore to pick up supplies. Captain Briggs and 3 other crew members went to shore. They took a horse-drawn carriage into town. They bought oranges, wine, and various supplies. After getting what they needed, they returned to the ship. They loaded the supplies on board and then set sail again. This time they were headed to Genoa. The journey to Italy was long and boring. For weeks, the Mary Celeste sailed across the waves with little wind and no excitement. On December 4, 1872, a British ship spotted the Mary Celeste. The captain of the other ship waved to the people on board the Mary Celeste, but no one waved back. Everyone on board seemed to be missing. The captain of the other ship grew concerned, so he got closer and shouted to the people on the Mary Celeste. Again, no one answered. He called out again and again, but no one replied. Finally, he did something incredible. He rowed right up next to the ship and climbed on board. He found no one. The ship was fully stocked with food and water. It had plenty of fuel for the stove. The fire had been lit, but no one was there. The captain looked around the ship and found a lifeboat. He had a bad feeling that something terrible had happened. He quickly checked the lifeboat and saw that it had not been used. He also noticed that there were no life buoys on board. No one had taken these from the ship. The only thing missing was the crew. The captain decided to take the ship back to port. As he steered the ship, he wondered where the crew was. He thought maybe they had gone off in the lifeboat, but there were no life buoys on board. Maybe they had jumped into the sea, but if they did, why did they leave the ship? The captain thought about this for a long time. He never came up with an answer. When the ship reached port, newspapers reported the story to the world. People could not believe their eyes. A ship without a crew. How was this possible? What happened to the captain and the crew? Did they run away? Did they get kidnapped? Was the ship attacked by pirates? These questions were never answered. We don't know what happened to the crew. The ship sat in the harbor with no one to steer it. It drifted out to sea and crashed into a sandbar. This was strange enough, But soon people started coming forward with bizarre stories about the ship. Some said that they had seen ghostly figures walking on the deck. Others said that they had heard voices calling for help. Some people even claimed that they had seen the ghost of Captain Briggs searching for his daughter. As the years passed, the Mary Celeste became known as the ghost ship. But there is more to the story. I have 4 theories to explain what happened to the crew. Theory No. 1. A sea monster. Imagine you are on a ship sailing across the open sea. The waves are calm and the wind is light. The sun is shining and the birds are singing. Everything seems peaceful, but suddenly the water around the ship begins to churn and foam. A huge shape rises out of the water and crashes into the ship. It's a giant sea monster, maybe a kraken or a sea serpent. It attacks the ship and the crew are terrified. They try to defend themselves, but the monster is too strong. It knocks them into the sea and drags them under the water. The monster takes the crew and now no one is on board. This could have happened to the Mary Celeste. Sea monsters are very strong, and they could easily take a whole crew off of a ship. Theory No. 2. Pirates. Pirates were common on the seas over 150 years ago. They would attack ships and steal their cargo and their money. Maybe a group of pirates attacked the Mary Celeste and took the crew off of the ship, but there is no evidence that this happened. The ship was found without damage, and there were no signs of a struggle. If pirates attacked the ship, why did they not take the cargo? They could have sold it for a lot of money. So why did they leave it? Theory No. 3. The storm. Maybe a sudden and violent storm appeared out of nowhere. The crew struggled to keep the ship upright. The waves were too strong and the ship began to crack. The crew ran around the deck trying to save the ship, but it was too late. The ship sank. The crew jumped into the sea to save themselves. But why did they leave the lifeboat on the ship? And why did they leave all of their supplies? Maybe they were in a hurry and just wanted to escape the sinking ship. Maybe they thought the lifeboat would be safer on the ship. We do not know. Theory number 4. Supernatural. Maybe this is not a theory you expected to hear, but maybe the crew were taken by ghosts. Maybe the ship was cursed. I don't know. Can you think of another explanation? Maybe you can, but this is the only mystery that remains unsolved. It's been over 150 years since the ghost ship was found. To this day, people wonder what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. What do you think happened to the crew? Why did they leave the ship? I think a storm may have knocked them off the ship and into the sea. But this is just a theory. Maybe you have a better idea. Write it below. If you enjoyed watching, please hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching. Bye.